Hello and welcome back to our lessons. Now, in this video, we are going to look at another concept in programming. So, this concept they fall under a very big topic called the control structure. So, under the control structure, we'll be looking at decision making, repetition, or iteration. I'll start with the decision making first, and then from there we'll look at the repetition. These ones too are very important. You try and then you get your note somewhere to jot down some point as I'm explaining. Okay, all right. So under the first one, we have the decision making. So this control structure operates on Boolean expression, meaning true or false scenario. So for you to be able to understand if statement or the decision making very well, you need to understand what we call condition or Boolean expression. So if you are jumping straight forward to watching this video, I'll require that you go back to our playlist and then you watch video on conditions. Okay, conditions in programming. That way you will be able to understand whatever we will do here. Okay, because now I'm assuming I've already taught that, so I'm going to move fast a bit on conditions, not to explain everything there. Okay, so under the decision making, we have the if else, if else, and then the last one is what? The switch or the select case. Now let's look at what the if is. Now we will group this into two. We have the if statement, because if it's one thing, and then this is also another thing. So if statement as one, and then the switch or select case as another. Okay, so let me quickly open our code blocks for practice. Okay, now you see, let me give you this scenario even before we start the whole thing. When it comes to decision making, it's all about making decisions in code. Sometimes you realize when you are signing up for maybe a form or something online, you can supply some name and they tell you that the name is already taken, so choose another one. Now how did the application know that particular name is taken? You get it? It's all about the decision making construct or the decision making going on behind the scenes. It helps the program to reason like a human. Okay, you reason like a human. Now look at this. One way or the other, we are familiar with e-commerce applications, website like the Jumia or maybe Amazon.com. You realize we have two aspects. Some people can log into the same Amazon website, and what they will do there is they will do restocking. They will add quantity to product there. They can even delete some product there. So they have the admin right. That same system, another person can log in, and when they log in, they just have access to product, and they don't have any option than to select product, add it to cart, and then finally placed an order. Okay, so the same application at the end of the day, but it's having so many branches. Okay, so this kind of approach is done by using what we are coming to look at here. Okay, it's done by what we are coming to look at here. And if you go to other businesses, you realize the same system, but the cashier is using a part that is about the finance. The admin is using another one that is about the whole operation of the business. Then other bodies, employees, to have where they can log in to have access to their information. So one system having so many branches. So what we are trying to say is this concept you are coming to look at, it will help you, or it will equip you to be able to do something like that. Okay, so that is the importance of decision making. So make sure you get your book and your pen and then jot down important points so that you can remember. As you are watching, you'll not be able to remember everything, so just make sure you jot down some point. All right, now we are going to start with the if statement. Okay, we are going to start with if statement. Now with the if statement, it's very simple. Okay, it works on condition. So let's use this application. Let's say we want to create an application that users can use for what? For voting. Okay, so when application start, it will ask you enter your age. We are assuming the users already have their voters ID card already. That is what we are assuming, that all the users, they have their ID card. So when the program starts, it will ask you what is your age, and if you supply your age, we are going to simply what, check if that particular age you have supplied is eligible for voting or not. Okay, so that is what we are coming to do here. So if, first of all, we will create a variable called age. Int age is equal to 8. Okay, now if you are wondering why we have int age here, then it means you jump from the other videos. It's very important you watch it step by step, okay, so that you'll be able to get the most of it. Other than that, what you are seeing here will be very difficult for you to understand. So in case age, what you see, the variable is a bit complicated, you can go back to introduction to variables and you can have everything in there. Okay, I would advise that you watch it step by step so that you don't miss any. Okay, so we say if age is greater than, if age is less than 0, now this is some validation we are checking here. Okay, validation we are checking here. So with the if statement, this is the structure. We have some if, and then inside the if, what comes inside the if is what? A condition. Please are you with me? A condition, right? So when you run the program will check the condition in the if statement. If the condition in the if statement is true, then all the code you have within the block. Now if you check, you can see I have open curly bracket and then closing curly bracket. In programming, we call this one a block or a scope. It means all the code we write within the curly bracket will belongs to the if. And so if the condition here is correct or is true, no matter what, if you have 3,000 lines of code declared within the curly bracket or the curly braces, all the code will be executed, and what you want it to do, it will do. Okay, so that is one thing you need to understand. We have the if and it takes condition. So if the condition is true, what you have within the curly bracket will execute, but if it's false, then nothing will happen. Okay, so we have the if and then we have the what? The else. So take a look at what we have here. We have if and then we have what? Else. This is the structure. Now if we take a condition and then it will make some check on the condition to see if the outcome of it will be true or false. If the outcome of it is true, then the program will come and then execute all the code you have within the curly bracket. If it is 20, all the 20 will be executed. If it is 3,000, the same thing will happen. Okay, but upon checking, if the compiler realizes that your condition is false, then it will move from the else and then come to the what? It will move from the if statement and come straight forward to the else. And so the if and then the else, they work together. It will check the condition, and if it fails, then it will come to the else block. Okay, so this is like, go and buy me phone if some is available, else bring my money. You get it? So the condition is go and buy the phone. That's the condition. And if you go and then there's no phone is available, bring my money as the else part. Okay, so this is just like the normal English we've been speaking. If and then else. If taking a condition, and if the condition fails, the program will not execute the block. It will jump and then come to the what? The else. So let me just say else block is working. Don't mind the spellings. So we have the if and then the else. So if we run the program, what do you think we will see on the screen? We know age to be 8. Is 8 less than 0? So if 8 is less than 0, then it's going to be true. But if you know it's not less than 0, then it's going to be false. So let's run and see what will happen. We run the program and you can see else block is what? Is working. Again, don't mind the spellings. Else block is what? Is working. Okay, that's because the condition failed. The age is not less than it's not less than 0. So as a result, we are not going to see the display command inside the for loop, inside the if statement. Now, instead of it being negative, positive, I'll make it negative 8. So we put negative 8 here. Is negative 8 less than 0? That is true. So since negative 8 is less than 0, the compiler will come and then what? Execute this code because the condition returned true. So if statement depends solely on condition. If the condition is not wrong, it's not correct, it will not execute. It will only execute when the condition is what? Is true. So keep that in mind. Now it has been changed. It's negative 8. If we run the program, you can see now we get what? Age cannot be negative. So that means the check has passed. The check has passed. Okay. So that's about the if and then else. It's for checking for two things. If your condition is true, then it will execute the block. If the condition is not true, then it will move all the way to the else block. Please take note. The if always starts first and then the else follows. You can decide not to add the else. It's not compulsory to add it. Okay. But just know that it's better to have it there because in case the condition fails, you want to tell the user something is going on. Okay. So that's the first check we want. But are we done with the logic we want to implement? Because we want to know if, a user's age is eligible for voting or not. So aside the first if, there's something called else if. Okay. And then the else if is just like the if statement, but the only difference is this one, it has the else keyword. Okay. Now it also take condition. Are you with me? It also take condition. It also take condition. And this is what we are doing. So if you check, you can see another else if. It's just another if, just that this one, it has the else keyword joined to it. Okay. So else if age is greater than 200, do this displaying. This is awesome. Now, you only use the else if when you have series of condition you want to specify under the main condition. Now, this is the main condition. Previously, we weren't having the else if. It's just the if and then the else. But now we have introduced the else if. So this is what it means. When the program starts, it will check the condition here. If the condition is false, okay, then that means the first if has failed. What the compiler will do is it will jump to the next available condition, being the else if. It will come and then check if the else if condition will also return true. If it check and this one hasn't returned true and is false, then it will try to see if there's any available condition down there. But there's no available condition, so it will straightforward come to the else block. Now keep in mind that the if has a condition. The else if has a condition, but then the else, it doesn't have any condition. As for the else, it's a standalone. Okay, you just give it a block, starting curly bracket, ending curly bracket, and your information comes within. That is about the else block. Please, I hope you are with me. Okay, so that is the condition, change of condition. First condition and then second condition. Now, under no circumstance can two conditions execute at the same time. If you have if and then else if here, It's never possible for the code to execute one here and then come and execute another one here. Whatever be the case, only one will be executed at a time. So if you run a program and the first one is the condition for the first if is true, it will display age cannot be negative, and that will be it. It will never come down here to do the checking. But if upon checking it realize that the condition is false, then it will jump to the next available condition, that is the else if, to test it to see if it will be true or false. So if it tests this one and this one is true, it will execute age cannot exceed 200, and then that will be it. Okay, that will be it. So let's run and see. I will just make 500. When we run the program now, on the screen you can see age cannot exceed 200. So let's look at what happened. Let's take it one by one. When the program started, it started from this side. Let's put 500 here. So is 500 less than 0? That is false. 500 is not less than 0. So that means the condition for the first one failed. When it failed, it jumped to the next available condition. That is the what? The else if. So with the else if, it says age is greater than 200. Now age is now 500. So is 500 greater than 200? That is yes. So since the 500 is greater than 200, it means the condition for the else if has returned true. So as a result, the program will simply what? Execute the block. That is, it will display this. And then right after, pam, it will end. So if statement, 2 blocks cannot execute, only one execute. That is when you are using the if and then the else if to specify sub conditions. So the main one is what you see up here, and then the sub condition is what you see down here. Now the question is, how many else ifs can we use in our program? Now the truth of the matter is you don't have any limit. It depends on what you are checking. If the scenario you are checking requires 50 else ifs, you can go ahead and do that. If the scenario you are checking for requires 500 else ifs, why not? You can go ahead and do that. Okay. So with this our voting system, we want to make sure that number one, we don't get negative as age. If you give us negative, we will tell you that something is wrong. It can't be negative. If you supply age more than 200, it's not possible these days for someone to be more than 200. I don't know anywhere though, but I believe majority of us will agree with me that 200, your maximum mileage should be 200. It can't be more than 200. So if you give us age more than 200, we tell you that the age is too much. Okay. Now I want to also specify another one. So I come here, else if. Okay. So whenever the else if come, it means you want to specify a sub condition that the program should check in case the above ones failed. So if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then you can vote. Okay, so over here let me just change it. You cannot vote. Please study this scenario very well and then check it. Look at what we have. Now it deals with condition. Okay, whenever you run the program, this is what will happen. The program will start the check. It will check the first one, its condition. If it's true, then the block here will be executed, and then after the execution it will end. It will not come down to check these ones. But if you check this one and it's true, it's false, it will come and test the condition in the else if down there to see if this one will be true. If this one too is false, then it move on to the next available one. It come and check and this one and this is also false. Then you can see we don't have any other else if down there. So it will not have any other option than to execute the else block. So the else block comes in when all your 2000 conditions fails. So if all the else ifs are failing, if all of them fails, then the else will execute. Okay. So basically that is how this program works. I will change it and then I'll make the age 19. Now this is a quick test. Now the age is 19 here. Pause the video and then try to see what will be the output when this program is executed. Okay, when I run it, what do you think will be the output? Okay, so we have run it and you can see you can vote is displayed. Okay, so let's look at it one by one to know how this happened. Okay, how this happened. Now the age is now 19. Okay, age is 19. So when it starts, it will do the check from here. Is the age, which is 19, is the 19 less than 0? No, 19 is not less than 0. So that means the condition here will fail. It will move on to the next available one to check. Is 19 greater than 200? That is also false. So it will move on to check the next available one. Age is greater than or equal to 18. 19, is it greater than or equal to 18? Yes, 19 is greater than 18. So because this is true, the program will execute, you can vote, and that will be it. It will not move on again. It will just end there. So that's how come you can see you can vote on the screen. Last scenario, then we look at a different thing. Age is now equal to 1. So like we did, pause the video and then check what will happen right after we execute. We are going to get you cannot vote. Okay, you cannot vote because if you run through, use the approach I showed you, that is what you are going to end up with. Okay, so this is a comprehensive guide on if statement. You start with your if and then specifying your sub conditions. Use the else ifs throughout. It's very important. Use your else ifs to specify the sub conditions. Now the else there is the last thing. Is the last thing that comes. If everything fails, then the else what will be there. Don't start your condition with else if. This is never done anywhere. You're only going to waste your time. It will not work. So it starts with if, and then the sub condition under the first one will be the else if. If you change this one and then you make it if, you've spoiled the structure. Okay, you've spoiled the structure. It's going to treat the first and then the second as one thing, and then it will treat this one too as another thing. They will not be grouped. So if you want to group your conditions, make sure your first one is if, and then the sub ones start with the else if, and then lastly you add your else block. Okay, so thank you so much for the time you've spent with me here. Okay, and then I hope you are learning. Try as much as possible to like the video and give me a very nice comment. Okay, even if you don't like the video, give me a nice comment, but I'm sure you like it. And then share to your friends too. Maybe others are struggling to understand this concept. Okay, this video actually is for beginners. I actually may take my time to break it down so that those who are beginners can easily comprehend and understand the concept very well. So try share with your friends who are also trying to learn programming by themselves, and I trust you by the end of at the end of the whole thing we are doing, they will be they will be on top, like the way we are all learning if statements now. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next lecture. Bye bye.